or not, you need to test your home for mold, right? So you're feeling sick and you're like, what is it? Is it my house? Ah! Well, you need to first find out from a doctor who knows whether or not mold might be your issue. Understand that once you test your house for mold and you have a written report, that goes with your house forever, right? So if you're like, maybe I want to sell my house, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay here. Well, that would be an argument to not get a written report and let the next people deal with it, right? Okay, so understand it will affect your house's value if you have a report that says you have mold and you don't fully remediate it. Now, some of you who are wondering, well, I can see mold. Do I need to take samples of it? It depends on how you're feeling, right? If you are sick with a mystery illness and you see visible mold in your home, it's worthwhile to fix your house so you don't have visible mold in the house. And I'm not meaning just to cover it up. You don't want to just cover it up. You really want to, if something, because mold grows into surfaces, you want to cut it out carefully. And those of you in my program, I'm going to share with you a video about DIY testing if you're thinking about doing this. But you guys, in order to make sure that you're safe, if you do try and do some DIY remediation, which I don't recommend. In general, I don't recommend it because it's risky. You need to have the area fully walled off. You need to think about the air pressure in the area that's fully walled off. And these are the things that a professional mold remediator would do, right? You need to go in fully covered, right? And usually have a staging station where you're gonna like put on your cover and your respirator before you go into a moldy area, and you've got it all walled off from your living area, right? So that, and then as you get rid of the construction material that has mold, you have to bag it up before you take it back out, and you can't just carry it through your house, right? So because you don't want to spread it around, you want to contain it, and that's what mold remediators are very good at. There are ways you can do some DIY testing if you're like, my house looks great and I'm not sure if there's even any issue at all. And those of you in my program, I'm going to share with you a video that'll talk about the different kinds of DIY testing. But if you and I are working together and we're like, you seem sick and it appears that mold is most likely the issue here. And for those of you who don't know about mold symptoms, they are head to toe. It can be potentially, let's start at the top, brain fog and memory problems, headaches, vertigo, difficulties with your vision, blurry vision, poor visual contrast sensitivity. And there's actually a test called a VCS test that you can do online. Check your eyes. Sinus problems, sinus congestion, hoarseness, difficulty with asthma that's very difficult to treat, that doesn't seem to respond to typical interventions, shortness of breath, chest pains, abdominal problems like pain, diarrhea, constipation, leaky gut, heavy periods. I know, and it's still going on. There's still more. Joint pains, muscle twitches, muscle aches. It really can affect every body system. People can have their hormone system go way off balance because of mold, because it affects the central control. And long term, we know in animals there's clear link to things like cancer and mycotoxins. So mycotoxins are not benign, and I'm not just talking about allergy. I'm talking about something deeper. When you breathe them in and they activate your own immune system, and you start to have altered innate immunity. So you can feel a lot of different ways. And I always want to mention is if you touch things and you shock something, you need to inquire more deeply about that. It's nothing maybe your conventional physician has heard about, but that is, for me, it's one of those signs that says probably someone has a problem with mycotoxicity. Okay, if you touch things and you shock something. The other thing is red eyes, weepy eyes, red eyes, conjunctivitis. So now you understand a lot of different things that can cause you a lot of different symptoms that can come from one thing, and this is not something your doctor probably knows about. So, okay, back to the question, should I check my house? Not if you're going to sell it, right? And what you want is guidance on how to approach your place, right? An indoor environmental professional, an IEP. And I did put a link to IEP radio below, or at least the web address, because Michael Schrantz is so amazing at helping guide people. And you can actually get someone to consult, even if they're not at your house. You can like take them around and show them with your phone so that they can give you an idea of what you need to do, and then you have a sense of where to start. One really important thing, if you have something like that you can see that's clearly an issue, it needs to be managed by somebody who knows, preferably not you. Okay, um, so let's just think about how you can. It can be kind of expensive. It can get expensive sometimes to uh, get rid of what you need to get rid of. But starting in the moment, you can do something like making a Corsi Rosenthal box. And so, Corsi Rosenthal box, if you have heard of that Corsi Rosenthal box, this is where you take home air filters and you make a cube and you put a box fan on the top. It moves a lot of air, and really this is as good as some of the very expensive, like $1,000 air filters you can get. So especially in times of the fire, everybody make sure you've got your box fan and some home filters that you can use, so that you're ready for when the fires come. Or if you need to create a sleeping sanctuary, if you're in a place right now and your place, there's something in there, you're not sleeping well, this might be worth putting in your bedroom or in the major living areas. They're not super pricey, right, compared to like super expensive air filter, but it might be worth doing. So those of you who are in my program, this is going to be followed by an IEP talking about DIY testing. Okay, and that question of, do I need to identify that specific mold that I see? If you are sick, you don't actually have to tell. The only advantage is to know where like the bad guys are. Where's that Stachybotrys, that black mold, and you can't always tell by the color whether or not it's very bad or just bad. So it shouldn't don't let that delay you from starting to make sure the water situation. We must control where the water goes in our house. It needs to go off the roof, right? So you're looking around at your roof line, seeing if there's anything that needs to be fixed. Start at the top, because if the water keeps getting in, you'll continue to have a problem. So remediation is about being in control of where the water's going in your house. Okay. And I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. And I wish you great luck, and I wish you clean air to breathe. It is a social justice issue, and I hope that we all are going to sleep in a room that has clean air. So, Corsi Rosenthal box for those of you guys who are stuck in mold. All right, you guys.